This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1276 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Uncle Jimmy's. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the driving radio show right here on the Horse Radio Network. Keady Cadwell from Tremont Farms joins show co-hosts Glenn and Dr. Wendy for a chat about balanced, accurate transitions. And if you listen carefully, you'll catch a bonus tip on how to drive corners better. And we'll get right to our tip after this from Uncle Jimmy's. Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls and Licky Things help combat stall boredom by providing your horse entertainment in the stall, while at the same time providing them with much-needed minerals and nutrients not found in other treats. Uncle Jimmy's has training treats covered, too, with Uncle Jimmy's Squeezy Buns. Every deliciously soft, squishy treat is individually wrapped for freshness, so your pockets won't get gummed up. Ask for Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls, Licky Things, and Squeezy Buns at your local tack and feed supplier, or you can go online to uncle-jimmys.com.
Well, first up, Wendy, we have our training tip for the month, don't we?
Yes, we have Randy and Keady Cadwell from Tremont Farm to tell us about transitions. Well, hi, Keady. Welcome to the Driving Radio Show.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Glenn.
Hey, we're so excited that we're doing this training tip segment on the show. I can't wait to hear what your topic is this week.
Well, I figured since last week Randy talked about the halts, that we'd work on talking about going forward. So the transitions, an upward transition, the upward transition to the walk, upward transition to the trot, and developing a forward trot.
Oh, that's a great topic, because I know a lot of times when people get started driving, they go from the halt to this like lurching forward into the walk, because the horses either don't get used, they're not used to the carriage, or they're just brats like that. I have one of them.
Wendy's looking at me right now pretty much as what she's...
Randy just said that. Ask Glenn if he worked on halts.
Actually, it's been so hot, we haven't worked on much here, I'll tell you.
Yes, well, we admit that too.
Yeah.
But yes, Wendy, the thing is, most people... You need to think of the horse going from the back to the front, not the front to the back. So when people think of, I need to do dressage, I need to pull the head in, then when you ask for a forward transition and pull on them, you disengage the hind end and don't get that energy, and all of a sudden you don't have a forward horse.
Right.
It's pulling from the front instead of pushing from the back. People need to push their horses from behind, not pull their heads in from the front.
So how do they do that when they're in the carriage without the lurching part?
So the biggest thing is to soften your hands on the head. Let the head go and ask them to move forward. If you try to control that first step forward, you're going to get the wobble or the lurch. They need to push forward off their hocks, and then you can reset everything.
Oh,
so
I see what you're saying. I see.
Pull on their faces as you ask them to go forward.
Which is counterintuitive, because it seems like you would want to hold on to them so they do it slower and don't lurch forward.
Yes, it's human nature. You
right.
think, I want to pull. But how do we teach racehorses to pull? We pull on both reins. That's how they learn to run. So
that's true. And then they just keep running faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, so if we can soften our hands and allow the horse to come up through the transition and push forward from the hocks, you get a much more forward transition that comes up over the backs into the bridle.
And so when you're working on your upward transitions from like halt to walk, like how would you do that over and over again, or would you just do that and then work, just do halt and then walk and then do something else? Or is it good to practice that a lot of times?
I find sometimes that if you put yourself on, like, say, a 40-meter circle
and
trot for 10 strides till you get a good trot established, then do a soft downward transition, then walk for a few strides, pick up a trot again. And it's the same with the halt. On that same circle, you can work walk to halt, and then up to the trot. And you can do all these transitions around this circle, so you're keeping yourself on a line, but you're working on transitions. It's okay to drill the transitions a lot, as long as you're having forward transitions, whether they're up or down.
You know, that's good too, like you said, to put them on the circle, because I know I'm a lot better with my hands when I'm on a bend rather than just straight.
Yes, and a 40-meter circle it's not a tight circle, so it's easy to maintain that bend.
Yeah, I remember one time in our lessons, you once told me to, even when I'm going down the center line, just pick a side and just pretend to kind of bend that way, and you will go much straighter. So that makes a lot of sense to stay on the 40-meter circle.
Yes, because bending comes first, and unless you need bending before you can have straightness.
Mm-hmm.
So that all the straightness is playing with your bend.
And so when you're doing your transitions, do you, like if you had brakes, would you use your brakes at that point?
I would, because what I don't want is the carriage to push the horse forward through the transition. So if I very lightly use the brakes so the carriage doesn't push them forward, you can have a smoother transition. Because if the carriage rides up on them and pushes them, they're going to lose their balance.
Yeah, then they kind of have to brace themselves, right?
Yes, and our goal is to get the hind end engaged, and if we're pushing on them and the britching is pushing up on them, that's going to hit the hind end and knock it forward.
What would people do if they have a two-wheel cart with no brakes? How would you suggest they work on transitions with that?
You need to start your transitions earlier.
Oh, so like, say you want to stop at like E, you would stop like a certain number of steps earlier than you normally think.
Yes, exactly. You just need to be prepared that the carriage is going to push them, and you don't want it to run past where you want to go. So you have to figure out the exact distance you need for your horse to say, ho, 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 and then do the transition.
But that's okay for the transition down, but what about the transition up with the two-wheel?
Oh, the transition up with the two wheels is no different than with the four-wheeled.
Okay.
Glenn, this is going to take a lot of practicing. I can't see you doing this.
But it makes sense, and I think I've been doing it wrong. So it makes sense now that you're saying it, but intuition tells you to do it the other way if you have no training. So I'm glad we're doing these tips. See, these tips, Wendy wanted to start doing the tip segment every month, mostly for my benefit, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's helping you.
She didn't really care about the listeners. She just wants me to stop screwing up my pony. And that's pretty much what it is. So
that's not true. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Well, this is good. I think that's very helpful.
Good. I hope it helps people.
Cool.
It's just a little different. It's looking at driving a little bit more from the true ridden dressage way. The softness, the over the back, the coming through from behind. And I think driving, we lost that a little bit.
Yeah, because we tend to be too handsy, don't we?
Yes. It becomes a control issue. It's human nature.
That's so interesting. Now I'm ready to go out. I got to go out and practice it.
Yes. Yeah.
You can do it, Glenn.
If you feel like your horse is falling out of the corner, and you think, oh, I can't make that turn, actually let go of their face. Let go of the bit. Let them go forward, and you'll see it will pull you out of the turn.
Huh. All right.
That's a great tip, too.
Yeah.
You can do it, Glenn. You know what? We're going to have Randy and Keady, when they come down to Florida this winter to the shows, come over and give you a lesson with Scooter.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we could do that. And then you can record a segment with them after, and they can talk about all the things I was doing wrong. We'd be about an hour and a half.
We all do stuff wrong. It's just, if you know about it, then you can do something to fix it.
Right. Well, that does sound like fun. I really should take lessons. You know, I've never done that. So 30 years, I should probably take a lesson.
You would enjoy it.
Yeah. No, I would. It's just, where we lived, I didn't have anybody but Amish. So it was like, they weren't real keen on giving lessons, nor did I really want to.
No, probably not.
No. So, I really didn't have an opportunity to learn much. It was all writing.
Yes.
Well, this is cool. Thank you so much. Where can people find you if they do want to take a lesson?
Look for our website or find us on Facebook.
And what's the website?
The website is TremontFarm.com.
TremontFarm.com.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of Uncle Jimmy's brand and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride or drive your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.